correctly. Okay. We're holding Hay. Page 303, Hay. Ben Ir sheholach lekrach. Okay, now we spoke about yesterday. Person lives in Tel Aviv, and he goes lekrach, or krach sholach liir. Or a person was in a walled city, went to an open city. What determines when you read the Megillah? Right? On the 14th, you're in an open city. And let's say you plan to be back in Yerushalayim by the 15th. Right? It happens. Person's in that. He's in a late meeting on Tel Aviv, the 14th night, and he lives in, and he plans to be back in Yerushalayim for the 15th. Does he have to read the Megillah on the 14th? No. So, yeah, no, he's going to make it back for the 15th night. He's going to make it back. Right? Or he's going to get back, let's say, the next morning. He's just going to sleep over the 14th, outside Yerushalayim. Well, even in the morning he'll be back in Yerushalayim. But maybe since he's in a community where they're already reading the Megillah, no, it's not Chutz La'aretz. It's in Israel. Everything's in Israel. No, Chutz La'aretz, it's a different concept. There you identify where you come from, except you don't do certain things because you're going to behave differently than everyone else, like doing malacha. Right? You're not permitted. This is what is your obligation? Ben ir sholach lekrach or ben krach sholach leir. Im hoye dato lachzul imkomo bisman kriyo. Here, if his intent was to return to his location at the time when they were reading the Megillah, the 14th, Tel Aviv. You have a mind to go back to Yerushalayim. V'nis'ake v'lo chozar. And he was delayed, waylaid there, and he didn't go back. Korebim kimikomo. Hear this? Here he's speaking that he didn't make back to Yerushalayim. He got stuck in Tel Aviv. Does he read right? He reads like in this community. V'imlo hoya badaito lachzor el la'achar zman hakriya. What about if he had in mind only to return after the zman hakriya? We'll see. It does mean like he's returning after the 14th. After the 14th. Yeah, after the 14th. He's going to be in Tel Aviv the whole 14th. He plans to be back in Yerushalayim. He's going to show up the 15th night. Does he read it on the 14th? Kori machi amokum shusham. He reads it on the. We'll see. Hadgo vimhu bamidbar or besfino. What about if he's in the desert? Or he's on a boat. Person of Yerushalayim is on a boat. Kori b'yom yudal k'mar olam. He reads it on the 14th. See, it's interesting. He's saying something very interesting here. If you're in a location which is reading, so the question is, when do you identify with the location? If you can be here the night and the day, then you identify with the location. You plan to leave, and you get stuck there, then you read it on the 15th, although you're in Tel Aviv. That's what Mechaber is saying. What about you're on a boat or in the desert? The location doesn't identify with anything. Then you say, since the majority of the world reads it on the 14th, you identify with the majority. Because the location has no, they're not doing anything in the location. No, because again, okay, because he says, because Rova Olam. Then you go after Rova Olam. Let's see. Hey, Ben Yesho Halach Likrach. Sivzehu Loshen Rambam. He says the Mechaber, the words of the Mechaber are the words of the Rambam. Sherab Miskashim Yisif Hazeh. He says because many have difficulty understanding what the Mechaber is saying. He has to expand and elucidate on it to a degree. Unavaro. He says we're going to explain it. Chofetz Chaim speaking. Hamagid va'kesef Mishnah. He says as the Magid Mishnah, that's one of the commentators on the Rambam, called Nosei Kelim va'kesef Mishnah. It's the Beis Yosef. Chimash me'agro, and the way this is the way the Vilna Gaon explains the Rambam. Tzrichanon leida shlosha dvarim. You have to know the three principles have to be understood here. Dim hu shayoch lo'oria prozos afilu yom echad. If a person identifies with an open city, even for one day, you're in Tel Aviv for a conference. You can be there for 24 hours, right? The 14th, the full 14th, you're going to be in Tel Aviv. Kori poruz v'kori b'yadalid. You're considered a member of that community, and you read it on the 14th. V'chein hu shayoch l'mukofin afilu yom echad. Person has a conference in Yerushalayim, right? Kori mukaf or kori b'tezvav. Now he's on the 14th and 15th. in the 14th is Yerushalayim, and he plans to be there on the 15th also. He reads it on the 15th because he identifies with Zman HaKriya Hu Ikar Bayom. Now this is important. We said the primary reading, it's based on the Gemara, is the day reading. Although we read at night, but the primary reading is the day, because that's associated with what? With Shalach Manos, Matos Levyonim, and with Sudas Purim. The celebration and all the main commemorations in the daytime is the daytime reading. Became in Shoy Bori Aprozos Bascholas Hayom Yudalit, Korib Yudalit. Since he was in the open city at the beginning of the 14th, Hayom Yudalit, right, meaning the morning. He plans to be in Tel Aviv the 14th in the morning, which is the primary time of reading. Zman Kriya Shekosev Mechaber, Hainu Zman Kriyas Hamokom Shuboato. When they're going to read in that location, Lo Zman Sheyotze Misham, not you've left, meaning you left Tel Aviv on Yudalid, you're in Yerushalayim. You're not in Kfar Saba or Moshev, I don't know what, Moshav. Chaim got serious. Okay. V'atu nevoras asif b'seder b'chol prat b'fnei hatzmo. Ben ir sholach l'krach. A person who's a ben ir, meaning he lives in an open city, he went to a walled city. When he left his community to go to Yerushalayim, he had in mind to return to Tel Aviv at the time of the reading. Rotzlom is about Kriya Shel Tezvov. 1 second. Imoyedatu. Ben Ir Sholach Lekrach. Imoyedatu Beis Nisioso Lazlum Kom Izman Kriyo. Tzloma Bizman Kriya Shel Tezvov. Hainu Shehir Hayom Lo Yesham Ki Yasu Misham Kodem Hayom. He's leaving Yerushalayim. He will not be in Yerushalayim. He doesn't plan to be in Yerushalayim the 15th in the morning. Does not. He's going from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim, be in Yerushalayim. He plans initially, he's leaving the 13th of Adar. 13th. Purim didn't even start in Tel Aviv. He's going to Yerushalayim for the 13th, 14th. He's not going to be in Yerushalayim for the 15th in the morning. He's leaving Tel Aviv, Yerushalayim at the 15th of night to return to Tel Aviv. When does he read the Megillah? He reads it in Yerushalayim on the 14th. Because he identifies with what? Right, because he's not going to be in Yerushalayim when the primary reading is going to be, which is the 15th in the morning. Okay. No, he's going to be there at 9 in Yerushalayim. He's come from Tel Aviv, Rosh Chodesh, he has a week conference in Yerushalayim. But he plans not to be in Yerushalayim the 15th in the morning. Not to be in Yerushalayim in the But so now on the 15th, on the 14th in Yerushalayim, does he read the Megillah? He's in Yerushalayim, he's in the walled city. 14th in the morning. He's going to read the Megillah on the 14th in the morning.
But he would have read the night before also.
He would, the night before also. Right, he'll read the 14th night and the 14th in the morning. Because the 15th, which is the primary reading for Yerushalayim, he's not going to be in Yerushalayim for the primary reading. So he doesn't identify with the location. Okay? But before, I don't want to get confused with the principles. First, second, or third. Let's just read what he says. Lo yeshem ki yasum shem kodem hayom. Before dawn, he's returning to Tel Aviv. O shel b'sof rosh hu muchrach l'sakib sham al yom tezvov. He sees, initially he meant to go back, and now he sees he's going to be stuck in Yerushalayim. He wasn't planning to remain there for the 15th. Mikol Moko, Eidanik Rishay Mukaf. He doesn't identify with the walled city. He wasn't planning to be here. The Korab Yom Yudalid Biyosef Bekrach. He reads it on the 14th in the walled city. That's his day of his obligation. Avolim Beis Nisiyoso Lo Yadato Lazar Min Akrach El Achar Zman Akriya. What about he went to Yerushalayim initially? He had in mind to return from Yerushalayim during the daytime. He was going to be there the night of the 15th and day of the 15th, part of the day. He didn't have in mind to get back to Tel Aviv before dawn of the 15th. Okay? Then he identifies he's considered a member of that walled community. Then he reads it on the 15th. Now this is the Chiddush. What happens? He meant to be there the 15th. All of a sudden something comes up, the 15th, he has to return to Tel Aviv. Right? So he's not going to be in Yerushalayim the 15th in the morning, which originally planned to be the 15th. He's going to read the Megillah in Tel Aviv on the 15th in the morning. No, it doesn't make a difference. It's similar to Purim. If initially you went from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim. You had in mind not to stay in Yerushalayim. You're going to leave before dawn of the 15th. When do you read the Megillah in Yerushalayim? You're in the walled city right now. They're not celebrating Purim. The 14th, okay? Here initially meant to be in Yerushalayim and to stay even for the daytime. So he's already identifies as a Yerushalayim Jew, as a walled city Jew. If something comes up, gets a call, he has to leave before dawn, Yerushalayim. So he's going to be back in Tel Aviv the 15th in the morning, before dawn. So he already read the Megillah the 15th at night. In Yerushalayim, where is he going to read the Megillah? You say, you can read the Megillah in Tel Aviv 15th in the morning. The answer is yes. Forget it, I'm not talking about private, public. It's irrelevant. No, what do you mean private? For him, what he does is his business. Let's say they were a whole group, right? They all had to leave Yerushalayim before dawn, but originally they were planning to be in Yerushalayim for the day. They have a minyan, or whatever, in Tel Aviv for Kriyas Megillah, the 15th in the morning, in Tel Aviv. Because every one of them identifies as a walled city person. Because initially they had in mind to be in Yerushalayim for the daytime reading. So if you have in mind initially to be the night and daytime reading, you identify as that person. That's what he's saying. Let's say you never left Tel Aviv. You intend to be in Yerushalayim, you never left Tel Aviv. So it's understood that you read it on the 14th. Here he was there, and he was planning to be there, and he read it on the 15th at night. And he did, for whatever reason, he did not remain as long as he intended to remain there. Let's say he intended to go to Yerushalayim. We didn't get to that case yet. Here we're speaking that he did go. He did go. What about he intended to go, and for whatever, he intended to be in Yerushalayim, but he was in Tel Aviv the full 14th. Does he read on the 14th, or does he read on the 15th? We didn't discuss that case yet. Right? Because then it would be, what?
Yeah, he may miss reading altogether.
No, he plans to go.
He plans to go, and then he doesn't go.
No, so he'll read, maybe he'll read on the 15th, wherever he may be. Right. But let's say a person never meant to go to Yerushalayim and he missed Kriyas Megillah on the 14th. He lost. Then he lost the opportunity to read the Megillah that year. He's not going to have Kriyas Megillah. Yes. Yes.
So even though he might be one person in the city that found himself in this circumstance, we're not going to assume
Okay, let's talk about this. It's an explicit Gemara in Megillah. There's an argument between Rav and Ravasi. The 14th, do you need a minyan for Kriyas Megillah? Don't you need a minyan for Kriyas Megillah? One says yes, one says no. We rule you don't need a minyan for Kriyas Megillah. Why? So the Gemara says because it's the time of Pirsum Elisa. Since all Jews on the 14th are reading the Megillah, it's a Zman Pirsum Elisa. Therefore, although in your particular setting you're the only one there, you don't need a minyan. On the 15th, where majority Jews are not reading the Megillah, also doesn't make a difference. But since walled city Jews are reading the Megillah, you can read the Megillah privately. But let's say it would be, which has no relevance today, let's say in the villages, when they used to read in the villages, earlier days, which a very small number of Jews were reading it, there everybody agreed you would need a minyan in the village. Sunday, the 11th, 12th, 13th. Before Yudalit. I mean, they would celebrate Purim, the meal, and that would be on the 14th. This is just for the reading of the Megillah. Okay, it's not relevant right now.
The idea of pursuing Nisa is to do something in a public way which publicizes the fact that something special happened. That's why you put the candles in the window, in the doorways.
You know, it's a good thing when we learned Megillah, David wasn't as learned. We'd still be holding the Megillah. We wouldn't be learning Sefer Kedusha. Right? This is the argument. Ravasi is saying what you're saying. Presuming these means factually, it has to be in a public setting. That's Ravasi. Rav says no. Since it's a Zman Pirsum Nisa, all Jews are doing it now, that's sufficient. You don't need more than that. It's a time of Pirsum Nisa. Now everybody, but the Gemara says, wait, what's the halach even for lighting candles? Even Rav agrees, if you could read it with a minyan, you definitely should have a minyan. Of course, you have greater, for Kriyas Megillah. It says, even though Rav argued with Ravasi, but he personally, he had a minyan for his Kriyas Megillah. Because of course it has value. You publicize it to a greater degree. It's only if you don't, are you Yotzei. Rav says you're not, Ravasi says you're not Yotzei. We rule that you are Yotzei. No, that's a whole different concept for Nisa. It's to display it. It's for the street. And let's talk about, what do you live on a farm? Or in Australia. You put the candles in the window. Nobody's walking down there. No, your neighbor's 100 miles away. Or kilometers. What do they call it in Australia? Or paces. Right? So, do you put it? It's still Presuming Nisa. Of course, it is a time of Presuming Nisa. And what happens? We rule the halacha. If you put it like the candles on your table, Yotzei b'diavad. Again, of course, it's time for Presuming Nisa. It's better, of course, it's better to put it in the window.
What happens if you're in a car on your left or stop and you open your left? And then, for whatever reason, you end up in
No, that's a separate.
crossing of the city.
You have to read it over.
You do have to
Because it wasn't really. It's only. No, because the reading was only, it was a special dispensation because you wouldn't have read it whatsoever. But now that you could read it properly, the proper time to read the Megillah is Yudalit. The Kfar and Krach, the village, his time is really Yudalit. But because they couldn't work it out, they have the special dispensation. But if you could read it properly, it happens to be the 14th, read it on the 14th. With the bracha.